A very warm welcome to everyone. So it's been a while that we have not been having the webinar from our side. So it's so wonderful to have each and every one in behalf of the Bahrain Meditation Center, warm greetings and greetings of peace. This goes to those who are with us in this group, the Arabic Zoom, which is under the translation of Dr. Salva, and also those who are linked via the YouTube. And of course, a very warm welcome and welcome to our dear brother Prakash, who is with us tonight. We truly appreciate your loving presence, as this will not be possible without each one's cooperation. And with that, we are truly grateful. There is not a time that everyone, is more and most challenged than this time. We have turned to a lot of external supports, but it seemed like they could never be enough. So there must be another or a best way to deal with these challenging times. So our dear brother, our dear speaker, Brother Prakash, you in? Brother Prakash Chugani will share his valuable insights to go through these challenging times by learning how to manage the mind, the time, and our immense power that we have within. Most of you would have been familiar with Brother Prakash, as he is always so willingly come to do this, to do the lecture or to do seminars with us in the Bahrain Meditation Center. He's so generous with his time, his expertise, and would be so willing to appreciate everyone. His wisdom is so immense, overflowing to be shared to everyone. And most of all, he has a lot of kindness. He cares for himself. He cares for others. And most of all, he cares for the world. And this is the reason why he is with us tonight, to be able to share his wisdom. So helping us to do this self-management so we can go through this difficult time with most positivity, with most joy in life that we can take. So without much ado, please welcome me for tonight, Brother Prakash Chugani. So welcome, brother. It's so good and it's so nice to have you with us tonight again.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for that introduction. I have only a few words to say, which is a very good evening and greetings of peace to everybody. Masa al khair and salam alaikum. It's always an honor to be here in this forum, whether it's virtual or it's face-to-face. I can still connect with the lovely souls in the Gulf, particularly in Bahrain. So thank you for that opportunity. A parent gave his child $100 and told him, well, this is for you. Use it the way you like to. And he did that to his 3 children that he actually had. The first child spent it, wasted it completely on stuff which was really not useful, not helpful, but absolute junk. The second child takes it $100, uses it for himself, has a good meal, enjoys with friends, and money spent. The third child takes the money and spends it well for himself, with his children, with his friends, but also comes back and gives a few great things for the house. So thought about some things that will be useful for the home, and also use some of that money for the needy. And so it's good to see how something like physical wealth given to somebody can be used in so many permutations and combinations. And anybody who is prudent would understand that the third child did something amazing, which we would all love to do with our treasures, to see how they support themselves, they support their family, but also supporting others in need. So today we are looking at three beautiful treasures that have been gifted to us by the Creator. And these three treasures are mind, time, and power. And there are so many ways in which we could spend them. Like the first child, we could just waste this off, being so unaware of it, too busy doing things that may not be very useful. Or we might just use them properly for ourselves, have fun, we enjoy ourselves, we take care of our needs. Or like the third child, we definitely use it for ourselves, but we're able to also use it for the benefit of others. So today, when you're talking about managing mind, time, and power, what we're really trying to see is maximizing mind, time, and power. We want to see how we can get the best from these gifts, these treasures that have been granted to us. And they are treasures. Some of the most invaluable treasures that have been bestowed on us. So what I'd like to do is initially, I'll just show you each of these treasures separately and speak about what they are, how important they are for us in life, and maybe one or two ways in which we can avoid wasting them. Because what happens is we all have these treasures. None of us have less or more of it. We've all been bestowed equally. But then there's this leakage that is there inside, which gets it all away from us. And so I'm going to share a few tips of how I can avoid that leakage, but also by the second part, I'm going to show you a few brilliant things that we can do that will maximize them to the fullest that we possibly could. Most of this I'm sharing from my own personal experience. And so we have some Q&A time, and we have time for you to probably share some of your insights as well when it comes to managing these three aspects, so that we can gain some more enrichment through this whole program. So let's look at the first treasure that's bestowed on us, which is mind. This is the faculty that creates thoughts, images, and hence our feelings. And to a large extent, they say it's the thoughts that become your words and your actions, and then your habits, and that's what becomes your character, and then it shapes your entire destiny. So when we look at the mind, I would think it's one of the most powerful faculties that we've got, because they say you are what you repeatedly, they say do, but I like to just add to what Aristotle mentioned there. I believe that before you do, you think, and then you do. So if he said that you are what you repeatedly do, I'd probably like to add to that, that you are what you repeatedly think. And so take stock of your thoughts. There are so many things that are happening every single day in our lives. What is it that I'm constantly engaging my mind in? If I ask you to think about a time when you've been quite disappointed, I'm sure we all have incidents in our life when we've been disappointed. I can ask you to think about a time when you've been very, very happy. I'm sure we all have had times when we've been very, very happy. And so the choice is mine in terms of what do I want to repeatedly think? What do I want to carry most of the time in my life? And that's why they say your mind can be your best friend if you're able to carry the best of what you would probably choose, or it can be your worst enemy if you only take all those things around that are not so great in terms of their experiences. And so we've got to be very careful in how we work with this mind because it's so powerful. So when you're given somebody something very powerful, and if it's not used correctly, then that can be the most damaging gift you're given them. But today we're going to see how we can use it in the most beautiful fashion. So one simple idea I like to share as we go forward in terms of how do you avoid this wastage is simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. And I think it's not very simple to be simple. That can be a little complicated because it's so true, and it's difficult to understand that how can something like this actually be the ultimate sophistication. But just look at the simple the things like, for example, I was just having dinner and the host told me to have my dinner quickly because otherwise it's going to get cold and the food is going to get soggy. But I didn't mind it so much. I said it's okay. I mean, I just would eat the food even if it's a little soggy. If it's a little less hot, it's fine for me. I would take it the way it is. So I don't need to worry too much about it being in that specific form so that it gives the best taste to my tongue. I would welcome both. If it is beautiful, if it isn't, fine. In terms of my clothes that I wear, do I really want to have the most complicated clothing? And if it's not of a certain way, I get completely fuzzled and I, really start getting worried because of something that may not be the best fit for me, vis-a-vis saying, okay, fair enough, this is what I have, so I'm going ahead with it. Or it could be in terms of the people around us, the things I'm projecting within myself, the place I live in, the car I drive. I think a lot of times our mind gets preoccupied in so many unnecessary things that are complicated in life. And if I can just become more simple and I can start practicing, how I can live with essentials, I think I would probably do myself great favor in this resource of my mind. I know people who want to wear a similar color t-shirt just because they don't want to think too much, and they would prefer to put their mind in places which are more, I would say, purposeful, more important, rather than putting them in things which do not really, you know, matter as much. And so simplicity is really about helping yourself to know what's important, putting your mind over there, and keeping things simple so that we don't just do things because others are doing it or what may others think of me, but realizing what is really important for me and then putting your mind there. So that's just a tip on the mind as we move forward. I thought this would be a good way to start. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. We have a saying that goes, be simple, be sample. That's a beautiful way to look at things. I'm sure we all look at people as well who have scaled the heights of success, but are still very simple in their needs. And we look at them and we admire them and say, wow, look at those people. They can do this, that, and the other, but they're so simple in the way they live. So when I speak of simplicity, our living, if it's simple and if you can adjust, then we have a great deal of managing the mind easily. Let's look at time, another treasure that's bestowed upon us. And unfortunately, today, there's a buzzword that people believe is very fashionable to use, and that is busy. You know, I'm busy today. I'm very busy this week. I'm busy this month. I'm busy this year. Well, this word has been really crazy busy, right? And so people think that they're busy and that's a good thing. I remember at one point in time, not sure how many of you know Dadi Janki, but Dadi Janki uh, you know, is a spiritual leader. And at one point in time, she was uh, having to run about 8,500 meditation centers across the world. And I used to write letters to her, just exchanging notes of how are you and things like that. And there was a time when I wrote to her. Now, usually I write to her in 24 hours, I get a response from her. But this time I wrote to her and she didn't write back to me. So I thought she must be very busy because obviously she's the head of an organization which is so many centers. So she doesn't have to respond to me in 24 hours or not even respond to me. So it is okay. When I met her personally, I mentioned to her that, I've stopped writing to you because I wrote to you once and I didn't get a response. I thought you were very busy. And so she looked at me, she smiled and she said, Prakash, to call me busy is an insult. I might have not seen it or it must have been overlooked, but I'm not busy. I'm always available to serve. So if at all you want to write, please continue and you will get your responses. And then I knew what she said. One statement she made there is busy means lazy. And I thought that I picked up. And I realized that we are being lazy in organizing ourselves around what we should really be putting our time for. And so if I'm not doing things on time, for example, if I'm procrastinating too much, uh, then I'm being lazy. And so busy does not necessarily have to be the buzzword. And I think we've got to really be able to distinguish being busy, especially with being productive. And I think what we need to do is we need to be more productive. So frenzied activity and, spreading your, whole energies in different activities you're doing versus focusing them on productivity, on those activities that are closest to what's important to my life, those activities that give me the most greatest satisfaction, which are aligned to my purpose, which support me in the relationships that matter most. So those are productivity things which I need to really look at. So I may have done 50 things today and thought that I've done a lot of things, but the question I need to ask myself is, was I really being productive rather than being busy, or rather than just ticking off all these items on my list? Because many of them may be done and dusted and finished. A lot of them could be not really important for me. And so that's something we'll really see as we move forward as to what does that really mean and how can we do that. But it's a good way for us to start understanding time, as in, if I'm utilizing it, just doing things is not enough, just in activities is not enough, but I want to do them in a productive way, but productive also focused towards a direction which is more meaningful to me. Otherwise, I'm running a rat race, which is not really for me. How do I avoid waste of time? Uh, we've got a lot of punctuations in English grammar. Which is the most simplest, easiest, and the fastest punctuation mark? It's the full stop. It takes time and it's quite curvy to have a question mark, the exclamation mark, a colon, a semicolon, a comma. All of them are more time consuming and takes longer time. Try and look at our lives. When something takes place, how long does it take for me to put a full stop? Something happened. I speak about it and I put another comma and continue talking about it, a semicolon, and how could this ever happen to me? Exclamation mark. Oh my God, why did this happen to me? A question mark. How can this person ever have said this to me? A question mark. So a huge amount of our time is wasted because of all these other punctuations. The simple dot, full stop. Okay, it's done and dusted, finished, dot. What did I learn? What next? Move on. That person behaved in that way. Okay, that was how the person had to behave. And thanks, because I'm sure there's a lesson I've learned somewhere in that for me that will be useful in the future. So can I look at that person as a teacher and say, Shukran, Jazilan, thank you so much for that lesson. Full stop and move forward. So one of the best ways for me to avoid wasting my time is just applying a full stop. It was Neil Donald Walsh that mentioned we spend 98% of time doing 98% of things which are not important for us at all, which are a waste. And I would think that we are spending 98% of our time thinking of those things which are of no use to us at all. And so if I curb that aspect of that thoughts which are happening there because I'm not putting a full stop, then it's amazing for me. So a question you need to ask yourself is, when I see things around me the way they are, am I constantly putting question marks? Oh, why is this happening? Because there are so many things there, a huge percent of the things that I cannot do anything about. So if I'm questioning them, I'm wasting my time. Or if I keep putting exclamations and say, oh my God, OMG, why that? How come? Again, it's just not supporting me in my time. Full stop, and we move on. Power. This is one of my favorites. Favorite treasures is power. I'm sure we all have our treasures, and there is something that's your favorite. So amongst all the treasures that I have, this is one of my favorites. I love this treasure of power. I'll tell you why, because when I look at what does that really mean that I'm powerful? Somebody says I'm powerful. It's another way of saying I'm stable. So I feel, and I know, and I'm sure about this because I've experienced it, and I'm sure all of you have, that innately I am peaceful. You're like this pond that is, doesn't have any ripples on it. It's very stable. It's only when something is thrown into it does that stability go off. So I am stable inside. It's only when something happens outside that I permit the stability to go off. But when I'm powerful, if I'm powerful, then I'm able to clearly disconnect what's in versus what's out. And I realize that the ability to stay stable is with me. I don't have to necessarily fluctuate. And so a person who's really powerful is somebody who can stay stable internally, inside, whilst there could be everything happening outside. Confidence. So there are certain things I'm seeing I have to say, I have to speak. And there are certain qualities and virtues that I have to demonstrate. So if I'm honest, it's a beautiful quality. I'm a very honest person. But what's the point of being honest if I can't demonstrate it in action? I know that honesty is the best policy, but I can't put it into practice. That's the lack of power. The inability to apply the values, virtues, and the qualities that are innate in us. So many things I'd love to do, but it's a lack of that confidence and that power that I'm not able to take that step forward. I've never done this before. It's okay. That's why you need the power to start doing it. It's always a first time. And so when I don't have that confidence, then I find excuses and I try to get myself away from those situations. And determination. Another way of looking at power is being determined to pursue something that is important for you. And it's not just trying once and coming back and saying, see, I told you it's not going to happen. But knowing that where there is an input, there will be an output. What I receive as value from outside depends on what I actually put into in my efforts through my intention, my thoughts, my words, my actions. As I'm going on and on doing that, there will be results. many times we fall short because we give up just before we actually get that result. Or we give up because we just believe that we need results without efforts. It's not possible. That's not how the law of nature works. It's a simple law. You get what you give. And so determination is that power which supports you in knowing that, yes, I can. And so I continue to pursue. And this is a gift that we all have. It's a beautiful gift that we all have. We all have the ability to be stable. We all have shown confidence in so many areas of our life. But there are some things that I'm not confident about. So I'm just got to check, how do I go back and draw on that power and start doing it? And to be determined. We have been determined in so many respects of our life, whether it's maybe when I was in school, it was to do with a certain subject, or it was to do with a certain sport, it was something with music, art. There has been determination, and we've seen results of that determination. And so somehow, as we move forward in life, we do have bad experiences, we do have disappointment, we do have things that have not really helped us, or we've just reached a zone where we are so comfortable that we are not determined, because we know, so what? I mean, I'm comfortable enough. If I don't get that extra bit there, then so what? And so we lose out on these beautiful treasures which we are there. We don't exercise them, and we don't use something, they become very dormant. It's important for us to start using these. Now, very important for me to know and understand when I think of power, and this is why it's so critical, this particular treasure, is that I have the power to choose any time in this life. There is a saying that goes, beggars can't be choosers. And many people who come saying, I had no choice, that's why I did this. And let me tell you, that's a false way of looking at things. At any point in time, wherever we stand, we always have a choice. And the choice starts first with, how do I want to respond to what comes in front of me? I have that choice. So it's not a given that just because the situation was tough in front of me, I had to choose to, I had to respond negatively. No, I still have the ability to choose how I can respond to any situation in front of me. And it is not wrong that I'm reacting to something. Remember, it's normal. If there's a tough situation in front of us, unprecedented, never happened before, it's quite normal for us to react, to feel disappointed, dejected, to get into the state of stress and anxiety and sorrow and pain, and to go through all those emotions. That's normal. So don't beat yourself if we are not necessarily using the power to choose. Power is a muscle that I need to build slowly but steadily. There's a wisdom, that's a deep sense of wisdom is required for me to start choosing the best responses to situations. And it's possible for all of us to do that. So it's normal that we react. And so don't worry so much. But the good news is that there are better choices we can make, and we have that power within all of us. Viktor Frankl, in his book Man's Search for Meaning, said this very beautifully. He says, between stimulus and response, there is a gap, a pause between stimulus and response. And in that response lies our whole freedom and our destiny. So how do I choose that space of responding? What am I choosing? I've got a lot of power. There's willpower there. So each of us can start building that power. And so we can look at any situation and I can choose a response for that situation. And I'm sure once we know that I can choose, none of us is going to choose a response that is negative, that is painful. Even if it happens momentarily, we can quickly go back, course correct, and move forward. But the best part of power is that I can choose my response. And that is a big, big thing to do, because we We are today surrounded with so many things happening around us. And if I'm not choosing my response, I'm just going to be driven by everything that's happening outside like a puppet. And so I've just given my remote control to something else, to some events, to certain things that are happening around me. And that's not going to keep me in the best of health, well-being, or it's going to keep me in the best way to support others. If I've got to support others, I've got to be strong within. I've got to be stable. Yeah, can you think about this pilot who is responsible for the whole aircraft, who is unstable, who's not confident, who lacks determination when he starts seeing things going wrong? He's the person who's got to be as stable as ever when the things go as wrong as possible. The worst thing situation happens, the more stable he's got to be, because he knows that if I'm not going to be stable, then I'm not going to be able to do anything at all. And so if I want to do anything to this world, if I want to support, starting with my own immediate family, my kith and kin, or my organization, this is important. And the only way to do that is to choose how you want to respond to situations. And it's a choice, simple. There's no one is better than the other. There's nothing about this is the right way or the wrong way to respond. It's a choice that I have. Do I want to respond in a way that makes me unstable? Or do I want to respond in a way that makes me stable, calm and collected, so that I can still have access to my faculty of my intellect, so I know what is the right thing, the best thing to do? That's why I felt this is one of the most important treasures that we've all got. And so like that $100, do you want to really utilize this power in the best possible way for yourself? How do you avoid waste? Acceptance. Acceptance is very important. What is acceptance really? Knowing that control is an illusion. What can you control really? Try and think about your own thinking and see what are all the things you're trying to control. Starting from trying to control how others behave, maybe your own family members, the way they communicate with you, the way they respond to things that you say. You come and give an idea in your organization and people reject that. But you're trying to control people in the way that, no, you must listen to me. No, you must accept what I say. Because I'm saying it from research. I'm saying it from this. I'm saying it from a space of a position that I come from. Because I'm speaking from the qualifications I have, the experiences I have. So control at a very subtle level, I mean, trying to control events happening outside in a very subtle fashion. And the way you look at that control is even by looking at, one is I hope that things become better. And we are all having hope. We all hope with our biggest of hearts that everything goes well outside. Things, when they don't get well, they might deteriorate, they might become better. Now, when things deteriorate, I start getting more disappointed. It means that I am not accepting. I am controlling an outcome that I have no influence on. And so you're losing your power every time you try to control events and outcomes that you have no control over at the most subtle level. Because I caught myself doing this, believe me, I caught myself doing this, and it's a very subtle thing, right? So the COVID situation back home in India is horrendous. It's terrible. So flights have been banned to move from India to other parts of the world. And so subtly I started trying to control the outcome. So hope, as I said, it's nice to have hope and good wishes and we want the best for it. But when I started noticing that I was fixated at an outcome that it must become better. It's been 2 weeks, so it should become better. And so I would look at the news every day and becomes better, deteriorates, anxiety. And I quickly picked that up. I said, no, that's not it. That's not it. I want things to become better, but I cannot become worse because things don't become better. Because it's two different things. I can choose how I want to feel. Why am I feeling this way? And then I realized that subtle, this habit of controlling things that is there in me. And so I started seeing I'm controlling certain outcomes as well. And so try and see in your organization, there are outcomes. We all expect we work towards the best of outcomes, but I'm trying to control those. And the way you can see that is by not accepting them. And so acceptance is very important. Acceptance is different from agreeing. You're not agreeing to those things that are happening out there. You can still disagree with people, but you want to accept things the way they are because they're external to you. The only thing that you can control 100% is what? Your own self. And that itself is not easy, right? We are talking about all these things because the way I manage my mind, the way I respond to situations, the way I start focusing on being more productive, that's all in my control. And that itself is so difficult. And how can I even imagine trying to control all the other things outside of me and other people and situations, events, outcomes? And so that's the wisdom that will help me to gain this power of acceptance. Now, so these are three treasures we're speaking of today. And I thought I'll just give you a quick idea about what we're talking about before getting into a simple aspect that is going to help us manage these three things. In other words, maximize the treasures that we have in the most beautiful fashion. And that is the simple thing. And I'm using a term which is in Hindi, Urdu, and Sanskrit called Laksh. Laksh is aim, and Lakshan means your qualification. They say, as is your aim, so will be your qualification. If I aim to be a doctor, I will start reading, studying, accumulating, everything to do with medicine, to do with people's health, to do with how could I help this person recover here or there. I'll get into the university where I would learn medicine. I will start post-graduating in medicine. And so once I have an aim, which is clearly set in front of me, I will start gaining the qualification to fit that aim so that I become what I want to become. So whatever is your laksh, laksh is the aim that I keep in front of me. My lakshan, which is my qualifications to achieve that, will start automatically coming into me. I did this exercise with my friend today in the house. I asked him to look around the room, and probably you can do this as well. Look around the room and see all the things that are red in color. Look around your room, right? Let's do that practice together. Look at all the things that are red in color and start counting them. Start counting them. Quickly in your mind, count the number of red things. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Yeah, quite a few things that are red in the room. Red is hamra, right? Okay, so now, if I were to ask you not to look around now, don't look around the room. You can just look into the screen or you can close your eyes. And if I ask you to think about and count the number of things that are black in color around the room, and if you just close your eyes for a moment and think about what are the things that are black in the room, you probably can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? Not more than that, or 3, or 2, or 4. Okay, now you open your eyes and now start looking at the black things around your room. Just open your eyes and look at the number of things that are black. And it's probably more than red. It's probably more than the red things. If you really look at all the things that are black in your room, you've got immense number of black stuff around, right? And you say, oh, wow, I never look. Oh, I didn't notice that. Now, what happens is, what was your aim first? Your aim first was look at red. And when your aim is to look at red, everything else gets cancelled out. Nothing else comes within the radar of your screen of your mind. And so you believe that there's hardly any blacks. But the moment I say look at black, then everything else goes off the radar. You look at black and then you suddenly start seeing there's so many black things. So that's the importance of the aim that we hold in our minds. Laksh, when your aim is clear, your qualifications will start coming to you that will help you to reach that aim. It's very, very important to actually have this aim. And so here is this particular saying that we got from Aristotle. And he says that a problem is not that we aim too high and we miss, but we aim too low and we hit or we achieve. So I want you to ponder on this a little bit. Just ponder on this bit. Am I aiming too low and achieving? Staying within my comfort zone? Because things are going well. Why do I really need to change things? Well, let me tell you, your mind, your powers, and your time is very dependent on this simple statement. If you can just adopt the statement properly in your life, you'll be able to maximize mind, time, and powers. Let's say you want to go, or there's this contest that somebody has kept, there's a competition. You got to scale this mountain. It's a very difficult mountain. It's a very high mountain. It's a very cold, icy mountain. You have to scale this mountain in one attempt. And if you can do that, you receive a reward that is magnificent, that's amazing, that's huge, and that's something that you really want. And you got 6 months before you actually make that attempt. It's a final attempt. But say 1st of January 2022, scale this mountain and you get that reward. How are you going to spend the rest of your 6 months now? Because let's say that's what you're going to achieve from that is going to really get you everything you wanted in life. Everything's going to be there. How will you spend your next 6 months? You're going to work yourself out every moment to be able to have that fitness and the ability and the will and the determination to be able to scale that mountain. That's what you're going to really focus all your energies on, because you know that doing that is going to give you everything you wanted in life. And so let's say it's the 1st of Jan 2022 and you started climbing that mountain. And then you have all these other things that happen around you to distract you, where you usually get distracted. A beautiful favorite movie playing here, the best actor doing that. There's a lot of situations happening in that town, in that country. A lot of things are happening. What are you going to really be doing? You're going to say, okay, listen, I'll attend to all of them, but let me just complete this task. I want to just finish this and then I'll do that. And so you're singularly focused on achieving summiting that mountain, because that's the most important thing for you right now. You have a headache, it's okay, no problem. You know what? I will still go. I'm not going to stay back. I just want to summit this. I have one attempt and I probably got a short time. I'm going to do it. So it's great to see how our aim is critical for us. And the higher my aim, the more focused, the more less wastage happens. The slower my aim, there is more wastage. There's more wastage of all these treasures because my aim is very low, very easy to get it. And so I can still do all these unnecessary, useless things. I can still have my mind, wasting 98% of its time just going on doing all these thoughts, because anyway, I don't have a very high aim in life. I want to support you with the aim, because this is also important. I want to share with you. You see, when we came into the session, I'm not sure what you carried with you in terms of your aim before you came to the session. You thought that I probably would take one or two things, but let me assure you, when you leave the session, you're going to have something very amazing for you to take back. You're going to be aligned in a very beautiful fashion that's going to help you and support you in a way you never thought before. Here's the aim that's going to support you. The highest aim that you can have for yourself is to achieve your full potential. Wherever you are right now, remember that you are a reservoir of many more treasures. We've spoken of these three important treasures, but there is another treasure called the treasure of virtues. Each and every one of us are filled with those virtues. All of us have it inside us. There could be peace, power, love, happiness, purity, wisdom, cheerfulness, joy, all these qualities and virtues. It would be respect, accuracy, punctuality, sincerity, honesty, everything inside me. All these qualities are there. We've used them sometimes, we've not used them sometimes. So we do not necessarily operate at our fullest potential in our normal lives. But I have that full potential. If I ask you just to sit back and think about yourself in that exuberant state, in that fullest state, when all these qualities that are in you manifest. All right. And this is a part of our visualization. So I would like you to do this with me as I'm talking about it. I want you to imagine you in your perfect state. Absolutely stable, peaceful, calm, and collected. This person who is able to interact with people in the most beautiful fashion, most gentle way, most polite way. You're still doing what you got to do. You're still getting things done the way it has to be done. You're still moving in the direction of whatever you need to achieve for your house, for your business, for your organization. But you're doing it with you in your most brilliant form, in the way that you always dreamt to be. In the dream, you've always dreamt others to behave and to function. You're able to function in the most beautiful way. You can imagine the most smooth way in which you're able to go about in life, virtuously, fearlessly, without stress. The only stress you take is when you got to go higher and do better for yourself. But that's it. You just move forward and then you move on and say, yes, I'm doing it. I got the signal from that stress. No more stress. I'm going forward and becoming better. So imagine that state of your being when you are at work, when you are in those activities. How do you feel? What's the experience? What are the results of such a living? I don't think anybody can ask anymore, because you are achieving your fullest potential whilst you're able to function. And so your results in all aspects of your life is going to be fantastic. Victory is going to be your shadow. So you're not running after things. You're being followed and run after by. Achieving, that's the aim. So, and it's a high aim to keep. It's a high aim to keep. And you've got to set the bar really high. And it is a part, I'm not trying to be somebody else. Remember, it's not achieve somebody else's fullest potential. So the big mistake we make in life is we look at others and we want to be like them. And what happens is you steal yourself from your own beautiful brilliance that is there, your magnificence, your own complete self. Don't try to be the second best version of another person. Be the first best version of yourself. Be the best version of yourself. That's the potential available, and that's possible. Trying to be somebody else, it's difficult. And you probably realize later on that you really didn't want it. You were just doing that because of external pressures. Be your beautiful self. That's possible, very possible. Being somebody else is, it's a little iffy. But being your best self is absolutely possible. But you can only do that if you hold that picture in your head. The moment your aim slips away from the top of your mind, it's gone. So the mind is focused on the aim, Lakshman. We spoke of Laksh is the aim, right? And when the mind is aiming on that Lakshman is mind, and Laksh is this aim, Lakshman, historical character, Lakshman, who's very, very focused, but this is the way I want to go forward. This is what my aim is. And so keep your mind focused on your aim and don't let the aim shift away. And the aim, many times we have this, right? 31st of December, I have an aim that by the next year, these are the 5 things I'm going to achieve. 15 days, 21 days, we do it. And then we probably don't even remember what was my aim for 2021. What was my aim for 2020? But why is that happening? Simple. It's because we don't want it enough. We don't care for that aim much. You've got to want it enough if you really want to achieve it. And so that aim must be so important for you. You must make it so, the why. Why do I want to achieve my full potential? Why? If you can really answer the why for yourself and, realize that, come on, what a beauty it would be for me to reach this full potential. And what a waste it would be if I don't. I mean, imagine I had all the potential inside me. And just because I was thinking about what others felt was important and looking at that person and running behind that and chasing, I have to die with the music in my heart. No, I don't. Live your full potential, because that's the beauty of life. And then imagine the greatness that you can achieve for yourself, for so many others, once you're at your fullest potential. Think about the beautiful example you leave behind. So the why do I really want to achieve my full potential? One of the things I tell myself is because of this. I say, listen, for me, life is not just my 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. For me, it's beyond that as well, right? Because there is an aftermath, whatever our beliefs may be, and I respect everybody's belief. But we all believe that this is not all. There is much more to it. And so if I achieve my fullest potential today, that's what I carry forward for eternity. And so it's so important that I achieve my full potential when I have that opportunity to, when I have this wisdom, and when I have some tools and techniques, let me do it. Let me do it. So second one, so this is to do with how it really gets your mind so well focused. Time. So you have to have a purpose beyond yourself. If your purpose is all about me, myself, and I'm not sure how well you're going to spend your time. Then there are a lot of things that are going to spend believing that you're just entertaining yourself. I'm doing this because I want to have fun, merry, eating, drinking, sleeping. It's okay. I'm good. I'm happy. But your time could be better utilized if you have the purpose of being a world benefactor, not just self benefactor, not just family benefactor, not just my nation benefactor, but a world benefactor. Now imagine the width and the breadth of this purpose of yours. And actually, I noticed that everybody has a purpose which goes beyond themselves. Usually, and I've asked this question to so many people, what do you think is your purpose in life? And it would not be that I just want to be a happy person. I want to be content in life. I like to be happy and content, yes, for sure. And I also like to make others happy and content. I like to make others also get this. I'm great with this ability, and I like to share this ability with others. I like to also make other people like this. So we usually have a purpose that is beyond yourself, and that's important. And don't just keep it restrained to family or to a small few numbers, my organization, my team, the staff that I work for. The purpose can expand more. And I'll tell you why this is so beautiful. When I become a world benefactor, wow, I immediately break all barriers of borders that are there in terms of nations, of borders that we have built, or of partitions that we built, of caste, creed, religion, color. Everything dissolves when I just evoke this one simple intention. I want to be a world benefactor. It's just a mindset, a small shift from I want to benefit so many small people, 5, 10 people here, 20 people there, versus I want to be a world benefactor. And don't worry, I'll tell you how it's possible. And it is possible. Because if I have to do these two things, I have to take a very spiritual approach. I can't take a very materialistic, physical approach. I've got to understand that I am a spiritual being in a physical body, spiritual being with a physical experience. In the physical, I am this metaphysical. And so when I start understanding myself from that point of view, then my potential is what? As a spiritual being, what's my potential? Then you can start seeing how you can achieve it. Potential as a spiritual being, being all virtuous, being able to choose my response, to be powerful, to be able to set my mind the way I want to set. So that's something which is amazing when you start having a spiritual approach. And so it was the world benefactor. So when I start understanding that it's not just the physical aspects, because that's the only constraint that you have if you want to be a world benefactor. How else can I be a world benefactor? Well, when I start having and creating these amazing thoughts and vibrations, they can extend to the world around. And so one of the things I'm doing these days during the pandemic is in the mornings, I ensure that I spend a good amount of time when I wake up. I emerge the whole world, all the soul of the world, and I'm just sending my good wishes, the vibrations of purity and peace to every single soul in this world. Because it's not only those who are affected, but those who are not affected also who have been affected. They're not affected by the virus, but they are affected by the fear of it, by the anxiety of it, by seeing what's happening to the friends and relatives. And so, why am I doing this? Because I'm a world benefactor. I'm not just looking after my family members. I'm doing that at a physical level. I'm seeing how best I can, protect and take care of my family. But I'm looking at myself as a person who's a world benefactor, that I'm also responsible to the world. But how can I do that? Through the energy of the mind. So now look at my time. If I'm a world benefactor, I can constantly keep having thoughts of power, of peace, of love for everybody in the world. And the belief here, you should have that belief that yes, it's reaching to them. And it's very important because, it's not always that only if you see something, then it's true. No, we can't see electricity. We can't see that. Obviously, you get to see the results. You can't see your thought. Doesn't mean you're not thinking. You can't see a vibration, but we can feel those vibrations. And so people are out there who are suffering. And I can do one thing, is I can create certain thoughts of power. Like any treasure in the world can be shared with everybody. This treasure of power that is there given to us can be shared with the world. But the purpose should be very clear for me, that I'm here to serve the world. And so your time is going to be maximized when you actually have this. You're maximizing the use of your time. And last but not the least is experience. Very important. And this is for your power. You've got to have this idea that I am in the companionship of the Almighty. One of the ways of looking at the Creator is the Almighty authority. When you say Almighty, it means all powerful, completely powerful. And so there may be times when I find it difficult to feel very powerful. But if I feel that I'm in the companionship of the Almighty, right? Because remember, one of the roles of the Almighty also is to be a world benefactor. So I'm taking on a purpose to also be a world benefactor. So now who's my companion? Who am I doing this with? Who's going to support me? So that's the relationship, the connection of being combined with the Almighty. And so that makes me a master almighty authority. So I'm now taking the support of the Supreme, the Almighty, to be able to help in achieving my highest potential, but also in being the world benefactor. But I think this relationship is very important, a relationship that is based on love, on trust, on companionship. So we've had a lot of other relationships with the Creator, with the Supreme. And it's very nice to introduce this. This is a very sweet relationship that you're having, a relationship with a partner, right? This is my partner. I'm with my partner. And just imagine how you would feel the moment you start elevating your own self into that space. What would be your experience? Because you have to have this beautiful, very elevated experience. If I want to serve, if I want to be the world benefactor, I must be extremely empowered. And so this experience will make you feel very empowered, that I'm the companion of the Almighty. It's a position that you take inside your own self. It's a very important position. Because remember that when you take that position, then your mind and all the other faculties will listen and obey you. When you leave a position, when you leave the chair, even in the physical world, when you're on the chair, when you're in the position, there's respect. The moment you're off that chair, you've lost all that power that you had. People are not listening to you as you did. Say, listen, I would love to, although I now take orders from the person who's there, who has a position. So when you take this position that I am the companion of the Almighty, it's a position you take. That position will immediately bring into command everything that you want. I hope this is not too heavy stuff for all of you and you're with me. The beautiful thing about all this is nothing is new. I'm not telling you things which are, earth-shattering, different, new. Each and every one of us have had all these brilliant experiences. We've had all these connections. And I'm just trying to show you how we can bring them all together so that I can maximize mind, time, and power. Tips for success. Visualize and connect. You have to constantly visualize your complete self. Keep looking at your complete self. See the benefits of it. See how others are benefiting from it. Because the more you're able to create this vision of yourself, they speak of visualization, and this is something that they've proved even in sport. Gymnasts who want to do a certain stunt they've never done before, just visualize that stunt 100 times in their head. And the body, the brain does not understand that you were just visualizing. For them, it was like real. And then they toned and tuned up all your muscles in a way that when you go and now do it 3-4 times, you've done it. And so that's the power of visualization. When I can visualize my perfect form constantly, this person who's calm, composed, powerful, peaceful, honest, helpful, cooperative, this, that, tolerant, and forgiving. Wow. Then guess what happens? You become that. You're creating those neural pathways, and they become your sanskars, your habits. It becomes who you are. Your sanskars are your resolves. It's your personality traits. Remember, we said that a person is who he or she repeatedly thinks. So if you keep bringing and conjuring up in your mind a perfect person, and the supreme, because that's the source of all powers, a position you have to take, the companion of the supreme. So when you just take that position, you're connecting with the source. Imagine when you have the sun in front of you, it burns all negativity, all impurities get burnt in front of the sun. When the sun's rays falls on anything, you take a magnifying glass and get it really focused on anything, instantly all impurity gets burnt. You want to take out all impurities from gold. What do? You take that in front of fire. It immediately takes out all the impurities and you're left with real pure gold. Each of us are pure gold. There are some impurities that have come upon us. When I am connected with the Supreme, the Son of Knowledge, all those impurities inside just melt away, vanish off. I don't have to do anything. I just have to connect. That connection is what I take care of. I take care of the connection, the rest are taken care of by itself. You just have to ensure that you expose whatever needs that sunlight. You just expose it to sunlight. Then everything happens automatically. I don't have to worry about anything else. I just have to ensure that it's exposed. So every day I have to visualize my complete self and I have to connect to the Supreme. And if I do the connection, I'm saying it's a connection, very important. I'm using the word connection. I'm not saying just verbalizing, but it's connecting, which means through the mind, I'm connecting with the Supreme. That's what we call meditation, right? Connecting. Stop. Another thing to do, Toss. Stop taking and start giving. This automatically comes when you take on this particular role of the world benefactor. But it's also good to keep in mind that I'm not here to take from others. I'm not here to accumulate. I'm here to give. Suddenly your mentality shifts from being scarce, wanting to hoard, wanting to pile up, to being available for others, to be able to give. Because here you're maximizing your treasure of time. You're maximizing your treasure of your thoughts. I want to give through my thoughts, through your powers. I want to give powers to others. I want to make them feel confident. I want to make them feel this way. And so when you want to give, you want to be first. You only will give what you have. You can't give what you don't. So you're not taking, but you already are. It's a big difference. Say, how can I give if I don't take? You don't need to take, you are. You just have to take that position and say, I am. I mean, I'm talking about your complete form. You don't have to take anything from outside to be your complete form. You have to just create that aim and you will reach and achieve. You don't have to take anything from the Supreme. You just have to partner. When you partner, you automatically have the right to everything that is there with that partner of yours. So it's a position you take. You just rise yourself. As I said, we've had so many beautiful relationships. This is another beautiful way of trying to see, okay, I can also be a partner. I can be a master almighty authority. I'm not taking now. I am being. It's a huge shift. And now when I'm there, I'm giving. I'm not taking. The energy of giving is very important. And then there's giving. Then there's no question about how do I do this and what this and what that. You're just there giving, you're forgiving, you're forgetting, you're appreciating, you're being magnanimous, you're being generous. Remember, this is all with a spiritual approach in mind, not just talking at a physical level, very spiritual approach. And last but not the least, a tip which will help you is to be sincere. Don't be serious. When I'm doing all these things, I want to be my best self. Don't be serious about it. Shakespeare said that very nicely. He says, the labor you delight in physics pain. So if I'm going to, okay, I'm just slowing down for the Arabic translation. The labor you delight in physics pain. When you enjoy something, you're not aware of the pain that it causes or of the being tired. You can just be tirelessly engaged in something because you're enjoying it. You're having fun. And so imagine you're connecting with the Supreme. It's an enjoyment. You're looking at yourself in your most perfect form. Such a joy to see that beautiful person of yours. So enjoy, entertain yourself. Don't be too dry. And one of the things we stop doing these things in terms of visualizing, connecting, and constantly moving forward is that we become too serious, we become too dry, we become too, not so light, heavy. No, be light, be easy. Don't lose your sincerity. Be sincere. Be light. Go with the flow. And don't judge yourself. You're serious, you're judging yourself. Oh, I didn't do this today. How could I have done this? I had this bad thought. No, it's okay, fine. Just be easy on yourself. Very important. Don't beat yourself up because you had done things which, it's okay. You've made mistakes. Learn and move forward. Things take place. We can make mistakes. Allow yourself, permit yourself. but then learn and move forward, learn and move forward. That's important. And so be light with yourself, sincere in your efforts, but don't be serious. Yeah, because a lot of our saboteurs, and saboteurs are those that come in the way of our aims, of our goals, of our perfect self, of the beauty that is inside. So we all have this brilliant person inside, right? A saboteur is somebody who keeps coming and saying, haha, you think you have all those qualities? It's judging you. Don't let it judge you. Don't listen to those voices. Even if they come, okay, fine, they come, let's say, all right, fine. I am still going to try and be my best self. There is a possibility. I'm just going to try it out. And so there are a lot of these voices inside you that's going to judge you and make you feel guilty and berate you and beat you down. And okay, fine, let it happen. Just let it quickly move off and see how you can come back to the space of the space. Yeah, go back on the top. I'm a world benefactor. My aim is to achieve my full potential. It's my full potential, not anybody else's. And I'm the companion of the Almighty. Three things will support you. Thank you so much. Before, okay, we got a few minutes for Q&A, but I'll just do a quick meditation. All right, so let's all sit back. Take a deep breath. And I want you to completely relax the body. If there's any muscle that you're holding which is tense, just let it go. Be easy. Become aware of your room, the light in your room, the temperature. Become aware of your breathing. And as you become aware of all these things, just accept them the way they are without analyzing them. Accepting 100%, just accept them. Completely relax. Ease your body, ease the mind. The way to ease the mind is to just accept everything as they are. I want you to just observe all the thoughts that are coming into your head. Just don't worry about it. Let them just come and let them go. Look at them just passing by like traffic on the streets. If you watch and observe traffic in the street, you're just watching your thoughts coming and going. And now turn your thoughts inwards. And recognize your beauty, your brilliance, and your magnificence. You have used all those values at different times, those specialities and those qualities. It's all inside. And just conjure up the picture of yourself and the way you would behave, speak, move when you are perfect. What does perfection mean to you? And realize that all those things are already in me. Next moment, I feel connected to the Supreme, the Almighty, source of all power. I look at myself as his companion. As the partner of the Almighty. And when the Almighty is my partner, I have access to all powers. I can tolerate, I can face, and I can cooperate. And so, like the Almighty, I am the world benefactor, which is my purpose. And I look at this globe in front of me, and I see all souls, my unlimited family. And I send out vibrations of love, peace, and power to everyone. May everyone be calm and peaceful. May everyone be strong and powerful. May everyone be able to experience a sense of love and care. Wherever they are. This is my highest intention for all. And also I can see how my thoughts are reaching each and every one through vibrations and rays of light. Thank you.
So, as always, you always offer to us inspiration, and for this time, really the power to move on and to reach the highest potential that we are. So, we hope to move on and move on. So anyways, we have a couple of questions over here, brother. Earlier, this was the question given, and I suppose there were answers given to this, but perhaps you can just focus in essence, the answer to this. We give up before reaching our aim. How to keep it, how to keep moving, I suppose, till the end without going back to a certain comfort zone.
Thank you. It's very important for us to have faith in that aim that we have. So the aim we are having, that I'm, the highest aim that we can possibly have is to be my perfect self. So firstly, I have to have belief and faith that I can achieve it. Many times we give up because we think it's impossible. Where there's belief, they say anything that the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. So I must conceive and believe that it can be done. And so that's what's going to support me in moving forward every single moment, every single time, because I believe in it, and I can also see the benefits of it. So I'm seeing what are all the benefits of for me, for my family, for the world when I actually achieve this particular aim of mine. And so that's going to constantly keep me going forward. And so I think if I have this aim, the mind is focused on that aim, I will be able to move forward. But then that's where the power also is required. I need the power to sustain it and to continue forward. So I don't need to waste my power and energy in, analyzing other things which are not required for me, wasting it without accepting others. So I think just accept everything as they are. And it's okay if I slip off and I've, said I'm tired, give yourself some time, but come back again. I think the idea is to keep coming back to it. Don't let go of it and say that it's not possible and leave it off. Don't judge yourself too much. If you've done it, okay, fine. It's normal that people, do get off track and they lose their aim. It's okay. It's normal. Don't berate yourself. But then muster up some more courage, do some reading, listen to some motivational stuff, get back to your aim and go forward. Keep attending the Bahrain meditation center talks. Yeah, very important.
Okay.
You got to
Okay.
keep that. I mean, how do you get that energy and the power? You got to keep sustaining it from this way, right?
Yeah. Okay. Exactly. Yes. And everyone is much welcome. So perhaps our brother, the control, can quickly show the regular activities that we have, like the regular meditation, apart from this, and of course, forthcoming meditation course that would come. So another question that comes here is about something like made mention about controlling the mind. If we control our mind, does it stay in our consciousness or into the subconscious?
To start with, this in the conscious mind. This particular image that I want to create is in the conscious mind. And as I keep moving towards it and I constantly keep bringing that image in front of me, it starts becoming and coming into my subconscious. And that's an important part to do. So after some time, it's not something that I've got to keep creating and thinking that I've got to be there. But then it becomes a very normal way of the way I want to really move forward. So once it becomes subconscious, then I'm automatically starting to see the way I move, behave, act. Is it aligned to this perfect being that I, have as my aim? So initially there is a lot of effort, conscious effort, but then slowly it does get into the subconscious.
So, thank you for that. And the third question, you made mention about the last portion, some tips. How to learn when to stop overgiving.
No, don't stop overgiving. Never stop overgiving.
No such thing as overgiving.
No.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Listen,
Yeah.
as I said, it's a spiritual approach. It's an approach to giving in terms of your thoughts, giving in terms of your qualities, giving in terms of powers to others. Yeah, and so I think that's the more you give, the more you get. So why would you ever, stop giving, right? So if, for example, I give you an idea, I have another idea now because I gave you and shared that with you. So why will I ever stop giving? So we got to take this in a very spiritual context, not on a very physical
Yes.
level. I'm not saying on a physical level, go and give everything that I have in my bank, I have to go and give my, money to others. I'm talking about at a spiritual level, at an energetic level. I need to give, give, give.
Yeah, that's a good clarification. And another question here, how can we jump from our small aims like family problems, which is urgent to solve, to a big aim?
Yeah.
Because your mind is not calm and peaceful to be ready to a big aim, something like that.
So first of all, when you hold a big aim, like I'm a world benefactor, it's impossible for you to feel empty. It's impossible for you to feel lacking anything because I'm a world benefactor. You instantly elevated your whole position from I am a benefactor of myself and my family to the world benefactor. So imagine the state of mind. So when you bring yourself to that state of mind, obviously you'll do the best for your family members. So the higher and bigger the aim, the better you'll do for everybody else. And this is a very spiritual, a very beneficial aim that you're having. When you keep this aim, you can't do wrong to anybody. So obviously you do benefit to all, and most of the people who are closest to you, because that's where the greatness begins, right? At home. That's where they say charity begins at home. So they will be the first to benefit.
Yeah. Okay. And you made mention about a book earlier.
Yeah, Man's
I
Search
think I
for
didn't
Meaning,
catch
Viktor
that.
Frankl.
Yes. So somebody is inquiring about the name of that book.
Yeah, Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl.
Immense Search for Meaning. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
So I hope that is taken. And the rest of the comments were really more of the appreciation and really, I would say, for what you have given us tonight to be able to move on and look at how we can really maximize more of further how we can really go through with life. And truly, you have given us the inspiration, the opportunity that there is a lot of things that we can do, opening up the invaluable, immense treasures which we can use to realize, experience my own, as what you said, my own fullest potential in life. So thank you for again joining us and really giving us this newness, this energy, really to move on. No, it's really so kind for you to take care of the world. You're taking care of the world. So we hope that you get to be with us personally in Bahrain. So with everyone, in behalf of everyone, we wish to express gratitude from the depth of our hearts. Thank you so much, brother. And take care.
Take
And
care.
everyone, take care for joining us. Yeah, thank you so much. And everyone, take care.
Thank you. Masalama.
Good night. Yeah.
Good night.
Assalamu.